I'm Lars Helgeson, founder and CEO of GreenRope and author of CRM for Dummies, and this is our Fireside Chat discussion about websites. So I'm going to cover a few things today about how we use websites and the difference between what we call landing pages and websites. So when we talk about websites, usually we mean a full website. Most of us have been around long enough to know the difference. A website is going to have all the navigation at the top. It's going to have all of the things that you could possibly want to talk about. So here's our website, and we're going to have our navigation up here. We're going to have content. Maybe we'll have a table of contents. Maybe we'll have more content over here. But whatever we end up doing, this design will be something where you've got everything encapsulated on here. Everything, most of us are used to seeing pricing pages, about us, all those things. So that's what we mean when we talk websites. When we talk landing pages, a landing page is a little bit different in the sense that it really serves one purpose, and that's to drive people to a call to action. So you'll go to a page, there's probably going to be a header area up here, and you'll see content often broken into quadrants. You might have this go further down the page, but really the key here is we want to drive people to a single call to action. So a call to action, or sometimes it'll be abbreviated as a CTA, is just a button really that you want people to click. Sometimes that's at the bottom of a form, usually it is. Most landing pages, really the point is to get the person who visits the page to fill out the form. So when we talk about landing pages, they're really focused on converting a particular kind of person who comes to the website, who comes to this landing page, reads the content, loves the content enough to want to fill out the form and get more information. And from there, then we trigger, once they fill out that call to action, then we can start them down a drip campaign or a journey or some of the other things that we've talked about when we're talking about marketing automation. We may not want to do that. We may want to just have that person fill out the form, and maybe that triggers someone to make a follow-up phone call to them. Whatever the case, the landing page serves a very simple purpose. The important thing to remember about landing pages is we really want to do a lot of testing with these. So whenever you have a campaign, so maybe you're on Google or on Facebook, you're doing someplace where you've got advertisements that are running, where someone's going to click on this ad, and that's going to bring them to this page. And you're going to know something about them based on what ads they clicked on. And so with that, we're gonna be managing where they come from, and we're gonna be doing testing. And so maybe we'll have two versions of this particular page, and maybe instead of having a quadrant design, we'll have one here and maybe two boxes here, something like that. Maybe we'll change colors, maybe we'll change the headline, whatever it is that we want to do. We want to do testing, and we always want to do testing. So the nice thing about GreenRope is it makes it very easy. We have our drag and drop easy builder for creating these landing pages, just like we do for email. But the idea is to create these landing pages and continually be testing their performance. One of the things that we do, that we have an A/B testing system where we can track both the performance of people coming into these different pages and filling out the forms, as well as what happens afterwards. And so when we do A/B testing, we're not necessarily only looking at which one of these gets more people to click on the links. We're also looking at what happens afterwards, because there's going to be a series of things that happens until there is a conversion. And this conversion, of course, is them doing something of value to us. And if we want to track to see which one of these actually creates more or better conversions, we have to follow someone as they go through the entire buyer's journey. And that's what we want to track. That's what we want to watch. So when you talk to our team and you're using our platform, just take a look at how we do our A/B testing for our landing pages. It's a very powerful tool. When it comes to websites, you can use them for a lot of purposes. Membership is one. Education is another. You can password protect your content, or you can also allow people to log in if they have a username and password. So in all cases, we're building an ecosystem of web content where people can go and learn about what it is you're trying to teach them, what it is you're trying to sell them. Now, as we do this tracking and we're managing where people are coming from, there are certain statistics that we're going to watch for. And this can be done on the website, it can be done on landing pages, but we're going to look at things like how long do they spend on each page? What's the jump off point or the bounce point? So In other words, what percentage of people go to a particular page, and then that's the last page that they see. Now, the power of Greenrope and Complete CRM is that we're not just doing this on an anonymous basis. We're able to track individual contacts within your CRM. So the way that works is kind of magic. But what it does is it looks at people anonymously until they do something of value, something that allows us to track who they are. So when they do that, we were able to backtrace all the things that they did leading up to that point. And so that's how we're able to keep track of how individuals are tracked on our system. So with that, we combine our knowledge of contacts with our knowledge of website tracking, with our knowledge of campaigns. And so, like in our example that we gave before, maybe we have a campaign that's running on Google, and maybe we're going to compare that to a campaign that's running on Facebook. And we're going to drive those people to the same landing pages, and we're going to measure their performance. So not only can we look at these all together and say which campaign is, or which landing page is performing better, we can then isolate performance by campaign and say, well, does one particular landing page work better for people coming from Facebook as opposed to from Google? Or probably more appropriately, we're targeting two different kinds of people on Facebook or Google. And we might want to say, okay, if we're going to target, say, people who fall in this particular category or are searching for this particular thing, we're going to look at what kind of performance we get from them. And that's an important distinction of understanding where your web analytics fits into your overall marketing strategy. Because at some point here, when they're going through this buyer's journey, they're going to get handed off to a sales process. Now, that might be an automated thing where they go to a website and they fill out a form, or they go to a website and say, yeah, I want to buy that, and they click on it. Or it may be more involved. It may involve a salesperson, maybe having a phone call or giving a product demo, or maybe driving to go meet them. In all of those cases, we want to make sure that we track all of that within our CRM, and that's the beauty of Greenrope. Is so you can do things like have this ad that drives people to a landing page, and as a result of doing this call to action, you get a series of emails, and we're going to measure what happens with those series of emails and how many of them are responded to versus not responded to, and how many people actually result in getting a conversion. So the beauty of Greenrope is that all of this is tracked within the same system, so that when your salesperson is making a call on someone that's going through this process, they have access to all this data. And when your marketing team wants to be able to see which one of these is performing better, because it's all done in the same system, the reporting is very simple. It's very easy to do. And that's really what we want to do. This is all part of how we automate the sales process, how we get insight into what works and what isn't working, so that we can focus on growing our business most efficiently and spending our time and our resources on the things that matter the most. So, well, we're going to talk next a little bit about some of the advanced tracking features that we have that are based around websites and email. We're going to talk about lead scoring, and we're going to talk about predictive analytics, because those are two technologies that are really important in understanding how all these pieces play together. After that, we'll talk a little bit more operationally and some of the other things that we do, but really we want to focus now on what do we do with all this data, and how do we channel the information that we have to really effectively help our sales and marketing.